Oh, fuck. I forgot I had Damian
Wolfpack,
Harris.
what is going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Roto Street, rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed fantasy wolves here with your Week 5 fantasy football tailgate. And as many of you probably are waking up to the horror show that is today, COVID is still very much a crucial part of this week. Some games already postponed, some other games at risk. We know it is one of the craziest times to get your lineup set, and that's why we are here. As always, I am the Wolf of Roto Street with CJ, my man. How we doing, CJ?
Not bad. You forgot to do the intro. That's what I was
Oh,
waiting.
shit. Damn. Should we just toss it on for the people real quick? Let's toss it on.
Oh, why not?
I got it right here. Yeah, no countdown. I like
with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the ball. Pile driving his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort.
I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
There we go. Have to have the
There we go.
intro. Have to
I
have
feel
the
like a
intro. Good
professional
call.
operation now.
Yes, now we can be professional. But thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I, of course, am the Wolf. This is CJ. We're going to cover all the COVID news, all the latest injuries, who's in, who's out, and of course, as always, the lifeblood of the show, your sit-start questions. So get them on in. As you know, it takes us about 15 minutes or so to get through all the news, and then we just typically rip with your questions. As always, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at, Periscope, any likes and shares, retweets, comments, all that stuff goes a huge way for the show. So if you are willing to share us out, it would be greatly appreciated. But let's start ripping through this news. The COVID, as I said, running rampant this week. We already have Denver, New England postponed. Some horrible news to wake up to. I have the Patriots defense in a bunch of leagues. I know a lot of owners are relying on Julian Edelman or James White, Damian Harris after his breakout game. As these bye weeks pile up, you need these options. It's getting wild. The first thing, even before we get in like the fantasy implications, is CJ, are you on board? This is a move that I'm seeing happen in a lot of leagues, and I will just preface it. I like this. This is what my league does. Is let's say you have Tennessee Buffalo, and we still don't know if that's going to happen, but it's going to happen on Tuesday if it happens, and you have Diggs, right, or whoever. You don't want to bench them. Are you in favor of like typing to your commissioner, here's my backup plan, and ultimately if this game gets canceled, this person the commissioner can sub them in? Or do you think owners should have to make that decision ahead of time?
I mean, I don't have that in any of my leagues, but I do like that idea.
Yeah.
It does help a lot, just because I think it's not stopping and it's going to get worse. So it's just the scheduling is just so fucked up that I think that's a good idea.
I like it too. Yeah. I mean, it just sucks. We're all in the same playing field at this point. And it's not like, I mean, I don't even own any Tennessee or Buffalo guys in my biggest leagues, but still, I think to have something baked in. If you don't, of course, address that today. Let us know who your other options are, because there are certain people that it's worth it to sit it out for XYZ, but not worth it to wait it out for XYZ. Here's a backup plan in case they don't play. But especially with like Tennessee Buffalo, and there's no other game on the slate, it's like you really, I still think, in full favor of commissioners being allowed to, you have to submit it ahead of time. You can't be like, well, it was the best player on my bench, toss this person in. You have to make a call and own that player. But still, I like that. I think it bakes in some injury, not injury, but just a lot of risk that goes with the season that's out of our control completely. I think as long as you have a backup plan, you text, this is my guy.
Yeah, you can't turn it into like a best ball thing where it's like, no. My highest scoring bench player is now my guy.
I totally agree. It can't just be auto replace best player. Like that would suck. But as long as you make a prediction and say, this is the guy, you make your decision, I'm all for it. So that's what I would recommend anybody dealing with Tennessee Buffalo. But if your commissioner is an asshole and is just like, no, let us know who you're dealing with. But again, Denver, New England, done. I think the biggest thing will be scrambling to replace the defense. And that's what I'm doing right now, scrambling completely. I found the Eagles, they've had 8-18 in their last 2 weeks. They're a good option out there in 70% of leagues right now. Even ahead of them, they were gone in my league, unfortunately. I kind of like the Browns today. I think that game,
going in one.
You have them going in one, yeah.
Yep.
I think the narrative is in DraftKings 2,700. I like them a lot as my cheaper defensive play. I think that game's going to be kind of ugly. I think Kareem Hunt's going to do his thing, but ultimately, with no left tackle there for the Colts, I think Myles Garrett's going to eat. Probably 2-3 sacks, maybe just on his own. If you get a fumble, strip sack, and especially if you get Phillip Rivers in comeback mode, that's always a good recipe for like a pick 6 or 2. So I think the Browns defense could go crazy as a fill-in for you. I also, if those guys are gone, in worst case scenario, if you go Houston with Bill O'Brien gone, Romeo Crennel, like a D-minded guy, it's always like those interim coaches' first games, like JJ Watt, doing something crazy. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like that narrative always ends up playing out. And they're out there in pretty much every league. So those are a few defensive replacements. And of course, every point matters. You can't just pretend like defense doesn't matter. So let us know if you're dealing with that question. I mean, Washington, Chase Young coming back, maybe, but now we're getting ugly. So those are my top 3. And if none of those are available, then just pray to the gods because you're kind of screwed. That's what I got for replacements there. If you're struggling because you have to replace Gordon, Jerry Jeudy, hopefully this ahead of time gives you at least some time to plan around it. But in terms of who's going to be banged up for Monday Night Football, the Chargers line just completely decimated. Beluga, Trey Turner, they're now out their center, right guard, right tackle. That's bad. And they already had the worst left side of the line in football. I don't want anything to do. And this is all kind of leading to Josh Kelly and Justin Jackson. Lots of questions about them. And I'm sure coming in right now, there's lots of questions about Justin Jackson and Josh Kelly. I don't want to put either in my lineup this week. I get Eckler's out. I get Kelly's probably going to start. But ultimately, I can't trust that. Like behind a non-existent line against one of the better run defenses in the league, the Saints are. I don't want that at all. It makes me a little more nervous for Herbert, who I'm into. We're going to talk about in a second. But either way, big to note all those line injuries. Mike Williams also questionable. You're not waiting out for Mike Williams, but you might be waiting out for Michael Thomas. He's questionable, as is Jared Cook. Just make sure you have a backup plan. Hopefully you own Traquan or Emmanuel Sanders. If not, maybe you can sneak somebody of these undrafted guys that are just going off for the Chargers. Just take your pick of like Guyton or whoever the fuck it is. I don't know. Hopefully you can wait it out till tomorrow too before you have to make any decisions anyways. But just they're both questionable this week as well. And again, Tom is probably the only one truly worth waiting it out for. But CJ, I think you wrote about this guy earlier in the week, right? Justin Herbert?
Oh yeah,
he's up to 42%. Is he? You've always been a Chargers boy. Are you a Justin Herbert boy as well?
I am a huge fan of him. I picked him up in I think 3 leagues, and so I'm starting him in all 3. I think. So,
starting him too. Wow.
Yeah,
Right
I'm into him. He's throwing the deep ball. He's awesome. He's makes a ton of plays. Not afraid of anything. He just slings the ball around. So.
I love it. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, he's looked like he belongs from the second he stepped on the field. And now that risk is gone of like, is he going to go back to Taylor? Anthony Lynn, like a fucking moron. I don't even know why he's like putting that vision in people's heads. But yeah, the kid, the deep ball especially, what was he, 20 for 25 last week, including 3 long connections to undrafted, like none of them. He had all 3 touchdowns went to undrafted free agents, which is just like, he's elevating people around.
And he's peppering Keenan, which is great because I was afraid of that week 1 when Tyrod was there.
Almost over 40% target share for Keenan Allen over these last 3 weeks, which is just insane. So I love Herbert. If you have Herbert, especially, I don't know where that secondary lies right now. I know Lattimore's limited. It seems like those guys might be back, but if those guys are out again, could see some fireworks. We know the Charger secondary completely banged up. So I think we get a pretty good Monday Night Football battle this week. I'm looking forward to that one a lot. And again, as I said here, top 10 upside rest of season for Herbert. We got Le'Veon Bell set to return. Sam Darnold's out, which ultimately might even be good for Bell in the sense that, the offense takes a hit, but Flacco comes in. He's like a Breeze Brady type that peppers his running backs just religiously in the game. So I could see Bell and clean up, garbage time duty. It's risky to start him because it's his first game back. Do you think he gets a full workload today, CJ? Like, what are your thoughts on Bell?
Yeah, I'm actually not super high on him, obviously, because he sucks. But yeah, I mean, I like him. I like him in the spot too. I like the Flacco play. I think his reception total today is only 2.5. I love that too. So.
Yeah, he should have 3, like at
Yeah.
least, right? Cleanup duty, like get the guy, even just to get him going in the game, they'll probably throw 3 quick balls.
Actually, I got him off the waiver wire this week in one of my leagues.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So if he's out there in waivers, at minimum, like even if you're not willing to start him, he should be owned. It's a source of volume. The talent should still be there. The Jets suck, and Adam Gase, no matter how talented you are, is going to use you to your lowest potential. But it's volume, and maybe he catches 8 balls out of nowhere today. Could happen. So he's worth a look if you're desperate. 5,100 on DraftKings. I'm going to go to Gibson before him, definitely. But still, just again, if we got like 40 questions already. Last time we got almost 200. We want to hit them all, so keep them coming, guys. We have like 2 to 3 more notes to rip through, and then we will answer them all. But as always, thumbs up on YouTube, thumbs up on Facebook. Always helps it out. It kind of boosts it out to more audience for us. So if you're looking to help the show, please give it a like. And then the huge ones are when you guys share it on out, drop it in like any Facebook groups you're in that allow it. It goes a long way for us. So thank you guys for tuning in. Lamar Jackson, the other big quarterback here. He had knee and illness things pop up with Andrews and Marquis Brown also popped up with some limited practices, but they're all expected to go. It never seemed that serious. And I'm actually very intrigued by this potential matchup. It's a 50.5 over under. I could see this one, the doors getting blown off and both teams hitting 30s. Maybe not. Maybe it ends up being a gross defensive battle, but Burrow's good against man coverage. This team runs it more than anybody else. A lot of articles looking at how the secondary really is not that scary too. So I like this one. Lamar Jackson should go crazy against Cincy. I know our boy Zenos loves him for DFS today, and that kid knows a thing or two. So yeah, Lamar Jackson, obviously in your lineup, as are all his weapons. Marquis Brown, is he still a must start for you, CJ?
He's making it tough for us. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still rolling him out in my 2 leagues. I still have the faith. I think this is a really good matchup for him. So yeah, I'm high on him this week.
I think that he's the ultimate buy low right now, actually. The air yards, 43% of the air yards, like almost a 30% target share. The volume's been there, the double of what it was last year. The results just haven't quite hit. I think it starts today. A good pivot on DraftKings too. Nobody's going to want him. And ultimately, the Cincinnati Bengals have given up the second most fantasy points to outside specific wide receivers. He doesn't really move into the slot much, which I don't normally love, but again, when you're matched up with a team that gets pulverized outside and he plays 80% outside or so, I like the matchup today. I'd probably have him in lineups. I know we get a lot of Marquis Brown questions, so let us know who you are considering, but there's a good chance I'm going back to the well, and I'm trying to buy low if his owners are panicking right now. Mixon pops up on the injury report, shin, but he's good to go. So we just wanted to acknowledge he popped up last week and then put up 45 points. Sorry, Joe. I know you used us as bulletin board material. That's why you got so fired up and that's such a big game. But I was so encouraged by it. Well, we said it all along. If he gets the receiving work, he's going to be a top 5 guy. Yep. He got the receiving work, and what did he was the number 1 guy. 45 fucking points. I mean, 6 targets. What I love though, Gio Bernard, literally 0 targets. Let's keep that going, Zach Taylor.
It has to be the first time in his life he's never had a target.
Yeah, I know. It's seriously just it was. You're right. It legitimately was the first time he's ever played and not seen a target, which is a great development for Joe Mixon. Over 80% of the snaps. Now the script was very positive all game, so let's see them get down against the Ravens, which they probably will. Is Mixon still the guy? Now, if so, you've got yourself a top 5 back the rest of the year. You can feel great. Now, if they get down by 2 touchdowns and suddenly Gio's in for 40% of the snaps, you can probably start to panic again. So this is going to be a telling game. He's probably in my lineup in most cases, though, top 15 for sure this week. And those watching, if you get any news on Julio or CJ, I know you're going to keep tracking. He's a game time decision. They're 1 o'clock, so we should know by the time this show wraps up. But he is game time. And in the meantime, Calvin Ridley comes off the injury report, which is great news. He certainly looked a little hampered last week. Hopefully this means he's closer to 100%. Nobody's 100% at this time, but should be in a good rebound spot. Carolina's been actually decent against wide receivers so far this year, but I like him to blow up. And if Julio misses the game, how do you say this dude's name? Alamodi?
I have no idea.
What is the Z-Man? I like to just call him the Z-Man cometh. He is 8 for 86 last week. As you said it, we were texting about him. Looks real quick. He doesn't look like a fluke on the 8 for 86. 9 targets were a team high last week. And again, looks good getting it done. So if you're desperate for a streamer and Julio misses time, he's out there in like 95% of the leagues. He's bare minimum at DraftKings. And I totally think he could, especially PPR wise, 5 catches, 80 yards, like definitely within his realm of possibilities. And if he finds the end zone, great. Gage also would get a nice bump up. I think people are going to like, especially in DraftKings, kind of forget about Gage. And then at 5-1, everyone goes to the Z-Man. I could see Gage suddenly putting up like 2 touchdowns and being the right play out of that game. So the other Falcon too, my favorite of all, Younghoe Koo, my favorite. He is the absolute man. He got me 17 points earlier this season. I'm running to sprint to get to this guy anywhere he might still be available. One of my favorite kickers and the best onside kicker. Like literally
incredible. He's like a trick shot specialist. It's
yes. And then the other last 2 notes here. Jimmy G for the 49ers, a bunch of them all expected to be going. Is there confirmation that Mostert's officially in yet? Do we know?
I haven't seen anything yet. I can take a look though.
Yeah, Schefter last night at like his usual 2 a.m. news perusal decided to break that he's expected to play, which now it becomes the question. And this is one of I kind of like to talk about too before we get into your questions. My top 5 things I'm monitoring this week. One of them is the 49ers backfield. McKinnon played 92% of the snaps last week, 18 points. I mean, he's looked great in fill-in duty, a touchdown every single week so far. I think he definitely keeps that streak going. He's been a beast as they ease Mostert back in. The question is will it stay favoring McKinnon? You know, Mostert was the guy early on and looks great so far too. So I expect McKinnon to kind of get relegated to the 1B, but receiving back role, both maintaining like a low-end 2 value. If it's a committee, maybe even mid-range just because of how good that run scheme is. But then you also have Debo now back. He's going to get some usage. You have, Ayuk looking like a monster. Kittle, 15 fucking catches last week. Like, I think this offense is going to start to take off. It already is looking like a juggernaut certain weeks. I just think, how much is going to be available to feed all of these mouths? It really depends on the opponent. Thankfully, Miami blows. So we'll have plenty to get fed to today. And I like having a lot of these 49ers in my lineups here. Jimmy G being back too, good stash at quarterback as well. But just that backfield is one thing I am very heavily monitoring today. So keep that and let us know if you have McKinnon, Mostert, those types of questions. I know you're McKinnon. You've had McKinnon alongside us. That's like a roto boy. Are you starting him again this week, or is he going back to your bench with Mostert back?
I traded him.
Oh, you traded him to DJ Moore. That's right.
DJ Moore, yeah.
And I think that's a good play. That's selling high and buying low.
Yeah, I had my back. He was never going to play, so I just had to do that. But yeah. So what are your thoughts with Mostert? Like the percentage wise, what do you think that would be? I
think this week it's going to be about 55 to 60 McKinnon, ease in Mostert. But again, Mostert could still be playable even if that holds true, just because he needs. You saw against the Jets, 1 carry, 80 yards, TD. Yeah. Like he's so fast. So if he's back and he's Mostert, like all he needs is one big one. So I would probably have both of them in my lineups today. I've gotten a few questions that were like, what if you have both of them? You have Mostert and McKinnon. Now you're getting in a tricky spot. That's a tricky spot. But if ever a time to do it, it's probably against the fucking Dolphins. So it depends on your other options, but that's a backfield you can probably have them both in if you really need it. Mm-hmm. And the last note here, Kareem Hunt is off the injury report. We had that groin thing last week that kept him a little limited. It seemed like to me, everyone's like, well, he only had 11 touches. He's going to be the workhorse. I think that was you go into a game with the script that you have Nick Chubb. So you have your set for Kareem Hunt. He also has the groin injury. You go in, not wanting to overwork him and also not needing to when you have like a 20-point lead over the Cowboys all day. I think we see a different script this week. I think Hunt gets 20-ish carries. Both linebackers also banged up for the Colts. I think Hunt goes berserk. Their D-line is good, but this is also the number 1 line right now, according to Football Outsiders, in run blocking. And they did do a good job. I talked at length with Joe Hopkins, our resident Colts guy. I talked at length, how are they against zone? Have we seen them? And I guess they really did a good job of holding Dalvin Cook in check. But again, that's with some pretty speedy linebackers that are now going to be removed. They're very vulnerable at the second level. So all he needs to do is get a couple in that zone scheme. And that's what it's designed to do, is to get you to the second level. So I think Kareem Hunt, and I know you like some of his props, CJ, right? What are some of his lines for today? Do you have that pulled up?
Let me see 1 sec.
Yeah, but he's 60. I do know he's 6,500 on DraftKings, which is if you're pivoting away from Mike Davis or just going him anyways and going both of them. I like Kareem Hunt. He should be towards the higher own, but he's looking to clock in right around 5th or so below Zeke, Hilaire. I mean, the smash play, Hilaire today. And Mike Davis were like the chalkiest of it. And Kareem Hunt should be right up there with the best of them. Maybe 2 touchdowns, 100 total, 5-6 receptions, like all, maybe even more if he gets 25 carries. That's what storyline to monitor, though, is what is the usage with Nick Chubb? Are they going to try to make it a committee, or is it just going to be workhorse Hunt? Excited to see that one. That's another like top 5 storyline for the week in my opinion.
Yeah, so Hunt, his rushing and receiving yard total is 104. His receptions are 3.5, and his rushing yards are 77.
I think the receptions definitely hammer. Like, he's going to catch 5 balls. No doubt about that. That is a pretty like high total, 100, but like he should get that. He could hit 150. So wasn't as good as I was expecting. I saw something like Antonio Gibson had like an 18.5. We'll go through your best props. I don't know if Gibson's in there. But I thought he had like 18.5 receiving yards, which is bonkers to me.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. 2.5 receptions, and I think 18.5 receiving yards,
which is a joke. He'll have 18.5 on one screen. And then speaking of that, Kyle Allen is in for the Redskins. I mean, a lot of people are like, yes, now we finally will unlock Kyle fucking Allen. Like, Haskins is bad. And I kind of put this one on here just to say Haskins sucks.
He's coming off his best game as a pro against the Ravens.
Yep, and that's what I'm saying. I don't get it. Don't get the logic.
Sucks. I can't stand them.
I'm with you. I don't get the logic at all. But yeah, Kyle Allen's in. He did pepper McCaffrey as any normal human would do. So I don't like say this guy automatically peppers running backs. He did sustain DJ Moore. I'm not worried. It's not like Haskins was blowing the doors off. So now it's a huge downgrade for the guys. But I'm also not sitting here. A lot of people are really creaming their pants like, oh, now Kyle Allen, he's going to unlock Terry. It's like Terry's been fucking good. If anything, this is worse. Like, who knows if this leads to Alex Smith? Like, if they bench Haskins for Smith, okay. But what the fuck? You really trying to see what Allen has for future potential? We saw enough last year. That's all we needed to see.
I think they're just tanking, really, is what it is. They're just trying to sneakily tank.
A sneaky tank there. And get Trevor Lawrence after getting Chase Young, that would be a pretty nice back-to-back haul in 2 drafts here. Well, let's get to our questions, guys. I know that's why you're all here and probably waiting patiently. So thanks so much for all that news. If you see anything on Julio, send it on in, and we will be sure to tell you the action. If he's active, I might have to dip just a little early to fix. I have the Z-Man in almost all of my DraftKings lineups this week, so I would have to make some quick pivots if he's in. But let's chat your questions here. If the Tuesday game is a go, would you flex Debo or Jonnu full PPR? I love Jonnu this week. I mean, Davis is out. AJ Brown's expected to be back, but they're very susceptible, Buffalo, to tight ends. We saw Waller have a great 16 to 20 point game, depending on settings last week. As good as Debo, the matchup against Miami's ripe, right? But we only saw 3 receptions, maybe 30%. I forget how many snaps it was, but it's certainly not full. If he's back to a full-time player, this would be a smash spot. I have him on my bench, for example. I'm waiting to see it. And I think Jonnu's a good enough reason. As long as Steven Drake's as well, is your league baked in that risk of if Jonnu doesn't play, Debo's your backup and you automatically get him in because you text your commissioner? Because if not, it's tough to tell you to wait for a COVID. Nothing seems to be trending right for COVID. So it's kind of wait for Jonnu if you are allowed to have a backup. If not, I would probably go Debo. Do you feel any differently about that, CJ? Or
I definitely agree there.
Jeff?
Julio is inactive.
Okay. Thank God. That means I can stick with you guys till 1 a.m. or 1 a.m. We'll be here all day, baby. I can stick with you guys till kickoff then. I don't have to fix any of my lineups. Get the Z-Man in there for DraftKings, baby. The fact that I just said that, he's going to have nothing. Fuck. Why did I do that? I just jinxed him. But who's Jeff? Geoff, Minshew, or Teddy? Who's
Goff.
Oh, okay. Who am I missing? Not Goff. I love Teddy. It's Teddy week, baby. I think I have him top 11, maybe 12. Atlanta has not given up fewer than 30 points so far this year, including a date with the fucking Bears. This defense is atrocious. We saw that Panthers offense. It's starting to cook. It started a little slow, as expected. You have no preseason to work out any kinks. A new coach, new coordinator, new QB, all of that needed to kind of mold and meld. And I don't think we've even seen it at its best yet. I think we see it at its best today. I think Anderson, Moore, that's my favorite stack. Anderson, Moore, Teddy Bridgewater, Mike Davis, obviously going to be a beast today too. But DraftKings, the winning lineups have been quarterback, wide receiver, opposing wide receiver, and to me, it's Teddy. It's those two guys, and it's Zaccheaus or Ridley, depending on how risky you want to get on the run it back there. That's what I'm doing in a lot of lineups. I think a lot of people are also doing it. It's one of the chalkier double stacks, but I think it pans out. I'm all about it. What about you? Are you Teddy? I know the mustache is in a pretty good spot too.
Yeah, I would lead in Teddy here slightly over Minshew, but yeah, that's kind of easy to me.
Yeah, we're a Teddy. We've been promoting Teddy all offseason, and it hasn't looked great. And particularly me telling you Rodgers is going to be worse than Teddy.
Yeah,
that's wrong.
I need to delete that Instagram post.
No, I will keep my receipts up there for everybody to tool on me. But this is one of those things. You see the tweets. If you own Bridgewater and you're not starting him today, when are you? And I don't think I'm wrong on Teddy yet. I'm not saying I'm right either. But if he's going to be right, it's going to be against Atlanta. And I think we saw last week 26 points. I think we're going to start seeing that more and more. Full PPR. That was a horrible burp in my mouth. David Campanile. That's probably because I saw this question that you're actually considering Renfrow right now. A little puke in the mouth. I love Chenault actually, though. So I'm going Chenault here. You're a Chenault guy too, right?
Yeah, definitely. They keep manufacturing touches for him. I feel like every week he's just going to get more touches.
One of my favorite, I don't know if I sent this to you. We should post this on Instagram. It doesn't have to do with Chenault, but for the Jaguars, they said James Robinson is going to get more second half touches. And the first comment underneath in Reddit said, my penis will be getting a lot more second half touches too, it seems. They got like 3,000 upvotes. But I love that also too. Mine as well. James Robinson, more second half touches. Love it all day. But they also, in that same article, talked about more Chenault as well. They said because James has performed so well, we haven't really needed to use Chenault in the backfield, but also why not? Why haven't we? Was what Jay Gruden was saying. And every week we want to add more and more to his plate. And he's also only 4,500 on DraftKings. I love Chenault. Just Renfrow, does that ever excite you in your lineup? Whereas Chenault excites you. And if you're not trying to be excited, but no, that's not the analysis either. They're going to manufacture touches. And that game has a 56.5 over under. I like that one a lot in DraftKings and in seasonal. Katie Jaguar, a weekly viewer here. We got to have that backyard stream for the cousins soon enough. They want us live, CJ. They were calling for us in the backyard. They'll put up a projector in red zone and stuff.
I love it.
Pick two wide receivers, full PPR. Sorry, AJ Brown, Parker, Lamb. I mean, Lamb is a no-brainer. You're not benching Lamb at this point. Wide receiver 12. I love. Everybody loved Lamb, but ultimately we had him 40 spots above ECR and above Gallup. That's probably one of our best of the year in terms of predictions. He's crushing it. I'm not really scared of Parker in the San Fran matchup here. The AJ Brown risk is, I love him if Tre'Davious White sits, if they play. There's just so many question marks. San Fran defense is not nearly what it was, so banged up. Sherman's still out. And as long as Fitz is starting, Parker's seeing 15 targets. It's literally lock for at least 10, if not 15 targets. So especially in a full PPR where you're going to get 7 catches out of Parker. So that's already a touchdown for you. It's a matter of what does he do with it? Does he also find the end zone? I go Parker Lamb here. I waited out on AJ Brown, despite, again, I love the matchup, but I don't, there's too many question marks for me. Do you feel any differently, CJ?
No, I'm in the same boat there. I'm afraid of AJ Brown. He's still stuck to my bench for another week or so.
Yeah,
especially with all the COVID shit and I don't know him,
right,
his
exactly,
injury and everything.
And it's with no core. He could have a huge game, but when you have the options to see it first, I always like to do that if I can see it first. And Parker and Lamb are great options to see it first. Had Patriots and Bills defenses, New Orleans or Washington. Neither. So I gave a few streamers, Daniel. I would go Browns first. I like, again, that matchup with Garrett, no left tackle. I like that. I like Eagles 8 and 18. If it's between these two, it's New Orleans. I don't know, because I think the Chargers will put up their points. But Washington, they had a good week 1 against that Eagles line. And the Eagles, again, could be an option. But Browns, to me, is that streamer that I'm trying to find on my waivers. I think they could have a pretty good day today. If it's down to these two, I guess I go New Orleans. I don't know, CJ. Do you have any,
Yeah, you mentioned earlier the O-line issues with the Chargers. Could get a few sacks there, maybe interception.
That's a good point. Yeah, those O-line issues. I actually wasn't even thinking of that. So New Orleans is actually in a decent spot there too. Literally the worst left side of the line in football, and then the entire right side is banged up. So yeah, not a bad play at all. That D-line could eat. Full PPR for David Campanile. Pick 2 and 1 for flex. Elliott Sanders. Again, don't ask stupid questions. You're not benching Elliott. You don't need 2 running backs here. Elliott's one of your running backs. I hate that. Come on, David. You know you're playing Elliott. And then I'm benching Sanders. The question is, this is how you word this question, is who do I bench of these? And it's Sanders. Obviously, I'm just fucking with you too. You know I love you, David. You're a great fan. But you're benching Sanders here. Robinson, again, second half touches. Morpina, second half touches. Everybody wins. And then Hunt, first game without Chubb. Like, so excited to see what he does. Sanders gets Pittsburgh, worst matchup. To me, he's the bench there, David. Let me know what you were thinking, but that's where I lean. Mr. DeIndia, you should be wearing. I hope you have your tank top on today, showing off the guns. Fuller, Gibson, or Jefferson. Oh, you can't get all 3 of these guys in your lineup somehow? DeIndia, you must be fucking stacked. Only one of them makes the lineup, huh? This is tough. I don't know. I can make the case for them all blowing up. And I think all of them have pretty decent floors too. The lowest floor is probably Fuller because he could get hurt. But if he plays the whole game, he's going to destroy Jacksonville. And they're down their top corner, I believe, today as well. Man, part of me wants to go the running back.
I think I'd play it safe and go Gibson there.
Like guaranteed touches, coming off a touchdown, and I think 3 straight now, and just seems to only be growing his role. And it's not like the Rams the 28th, I think, in DVOA against the run. I love Gibson this week. If it's full PPR though, I think I would go Fuller. If it's full DND, I forget exactly what you guys are. As a commission, I am allowing contingency plans. I think that is, Craig, tip to you. I'm usually a stickler and like you have to have your plans right. Not this year. This isn't a year to be a stickler. Like we're all getting through this shit together. It's hard enough to have to start these stupid backups that you don't want in anyways. You shouldn't have to predict if the game is going to be played on Tuesday or not. I don't see how any reasonable human doesn't allow it. Like I think and if your league doesn't have a like set policy yet, I think anybody watching should start discussing this with your commissioner. Like, hey, can we have this in? Can we at least vote on it as a league? Like that's a league-wide decision, not like a power-hungry commissioner decision to not have a rule like that. Jair, our guy, what's going on? Always a pleasure to hear from you on Sundays too. Marquis Brown, T.Y. Hilton, never. Let's cut T.Y. Hilton. Let's get him out. I don't ever want to hear his name again, Jair. Get out of here. T.Y. Hilton. Mostert or David Johnson. To me, I'm going Marquis here for all the reasons we talked about earlier. Number 2 in points allowed to outside wide receiver are the Bengals, and that's where he plays almost 80% of his snaps. If it wasn't him, it'd be the touches of David Johnson.
I think it's 2 separate questions. Hollywood or Ty, and then Mostert.
Gotcha. So then I'm going to go Marquise and David Johnson is what I'm thinking. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I mean, David Johnson sucks. He's already back to his old self, it seems, but they love giving him the ball still, so can't argue with that.
Yeah. Romeo Crennel did say, like, our focus is getting this defense right and pounding the run game. That's always, like, the defensive-minded, just ugly, which everybody has Deshaun Watson, like, blowing up all of a sudden. I don't know him buying the rebound as much as most people out there. He's, like, the most popular buy low right now, and I get he faced a murderer's row of defenses, and Bill O'Brien's now gone, but are we excited about Romeo Crennel taking over?
Yeah.
Like that, it's going to be David Johnson's slug.
Who's calling plays?
Probably Tim Kelly. I bet you it's back to he entered the year as a play caller. I'm probably going back to him. And you know what? Maybe the Tim Kelly's some genius that was getting shackled by B.O.B. I doubt it, but like, hey, you never fucking know. Wolf and CJ need an RB2 in flex. Latavius, Hines, Ingram. Oh, this is the rotating RB2 of death. I think Jagier likes to call this one.
We just pick the wrong one every week.
Yeah. I think Ayuk is locked into the flex for me. I'm not trusting Cooks. I think Akers is going to become this guy for you. I actually wanted to mention is playing today, and that's one of my top 5 stories to watch. We talked about a couple of them. The the 49ers backfield. I think the Chargers backfield, and then also the Rams is a backfield I am definitely monitoring after Hendo gets, the back seat to Malcolm Brown out of nowhere. Psycho stuff. Maybe that just means the door is still being open for Akers. Excited to see it. Not sure I can trust it quite yet. I'm going to go Ingram here. I just think he's a decent bet for a touchdown. Terrified that he's playing fewer snaps than all the running backs there. He was literally the last in snaps last week. But he's the first one in. They drive down the field. They get a touchdown. Like, with these other options, what else are you fucking looking for here? Like, This is terrible.
Or I was thinking Latavius, maybe. He has been getting a lot of touches, like, inside the 20, too. So
he did put up 2 touchdowns last week, right? Like,
yeah, I think he's had at least a touchdown almost every week, I think.
And the Chargers are banged up, like, all over the defense.
I hate starting backup so much, but I don't know. He's been getting quality touches, it seems.
He has. You're right. Man. It's Ingram or it's Latavius for me. I'm gonna lean, and then again, like, there's also the narrative, as I talked about. I think the Browns get up early and force Rivers to throw. When that happens, Hines is gonna get peppered too. So there's narratives for all these guys. Ayuk's my favorite, so I'm locking him into the flex. And I kind of think Latavius might have the highest floor, and similar, like Ingram, you're hoping for a touchdown. Latavius, you are as well. And you're probably going to, Latavius will get like 30 to 40% of the work. You just don't know with Ingram. Part of me just thinks Ingram goes for a touchdown or 2, though, like more secure. I'm going to go Ingram. I know CJ likes Latavius. They're both the same type of dice roll.
1A, 1B, yeah.
You got to go gut there. We got Blazo, Emmanuel Sanders, Chenault, Brown, Thomas, Julio. So Julio's out. So now we got to pick 2, half PPR. Thomas and Brown being questionable. So tricky there. And it's one of those things, like, again, does your commissioner, this is what we're going to have to, like, I guess, start prefacing questions with, guys, is does your commissioner allow contingency plans? Because if this is like, I'm waiting for John Brown, and if he doesn't play, I'm just fucked, then you cross him off this list. John Brown's not worth waiting for. If you can wait it out, I would say the top options here would be Michael Thomas if he plays, and then probably John Brown if he plays, because that Tennessee matchup's beautiful. But if you're not allowed to have contingency plans, I don't think you shouldn't be allowed for Michael Thomas. You have your contingency plan already with Emmanuel Sanders. So if Thomas plays, he's in, and you got to go him. If not, Sanders. So let's just say Saints wide receiver for one of them, right, Blazo? Then it comes down to Chenault or Brown. I love Chenault. If you are allowed to have a contingency plan, I think I go Brown with Chenault as my contingency plan, if that makes sense. If you're not, then I don't risk it and wait for Brown. I just go Chenault right away. Does that make sense how I'm explaining that, CJ?
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just tough because it's, I don't know. They're not like, it doesn't seem like sit start questions anymore. Like, oh, who's the better player? It's just like, who is like less of a chance to like not play.
Zero. Yeah, exactly. And you have to factor that in. We'll start now, and we'll put this in the description at some point. Is if you're gonna involve somebody in a COVID related like risk, mention to us if you have a contingency plan rule in place, because that will change our answers. But I think you're going Saints, one of the 2. If Thomas plays him, if not Sanders, and then I like Chenault. If John Brown, if you're allowed to have a contingency plan, you go Brown. But Chenault's a great option. Do I play Logan Thomas or wait on Jonnu and hope the game happens? Again, I think you obviously, if you're allowed a contingency plan, you say Jonnu, and then is Logan Thomas even fucking worth it though? Like, I'd rather just he's probably going to get you 2. So then, like, just take the 0 at that point and wait for Jonnu. I think this is one where I wait for Jonnu. He's worth waiting for if that's your other option. Like Logan Thomas, he's got to be done at this point. Standard with bonuses: Drake or Edmonds or Kelly. You can't go Edmonds yet. He hasn't taken over quite yet. It's still been like 70% of snaps Drake. I'm going Drake here, and I don't like it, but like we mentioned, Kelly, line banged up, tough Saints run D, fumbling issues. Like, he's one I'm waiting to see it. I'm not putting Kelly right in the lineups right now. Drake, I'm just going to have to go back to the well, unfortunately. Is it worth waiting or plugging the other guys? So again, if you're not allowed to have a contingency plan, you just plug in Chenault, and then with Thomas, you have your plan with Sanders. Start Schultz or wait on Johnny. I think this is one where, again, if you don't have a contingency plan, Schultz is worth getting in there. If it's Logan Thomas, it's not worth it. If it's Schultz, he's been killing it. He's the tight end 5 in fantasy right now. I fucking love Schultz. He's going to be like my pickup of the year. I have him and he's saving me where I had Evan Ingram a lot of leagues.
Funny because he's not even like an athlete. He just works.
No.
That offense is a points factory.
It's
like an all-time
points factory. They just move it so well, and that's every week. He's a good bet to find the end zone. He'll probably find I bet you he scores by the end of the year. I think he's already got 2 touchdowns. I think he hits, dare I say, double digits. I think he totally could by the end of the year. Dalton Schultz. I love it. And you get to start a guy named Dalton Schultz. What's better than that? 15 points last week. I love it. Craig Sarno, our guy. I'm not used to seeing Sarno without the blonde fro over his head. This is kind of freaking me out, Craig.
That doesn't even look like him.
Yeah, it's like a Bitmoji. You can do better than that. Come on. Half PPR, need 2 wide receivers in flex: Beckham, Hollywood, Ridley, and Robbie Anderson. So who we have to bench one of these guys, it sounds like, right? I think Ridley and Robbie are my locks. Robbie's just too damn good. He's the wide receiver 1 there. I think Moore could rebound in a big way today. I think he will rebound in a big way today. Then to me, but you have to have both those guys in. To me, I like Hollywood a little more than Beckham. I know Beckham, it's scary to bench right now. But he relied on a Jarvis Landry trick play bomb, which was a beautiful throw, but they're not going to do that every week, I don't think, right?
And that 60-yard run.
Exactly. He's still tied to Baker Mayfield. If you only had his Baker Mayfield points last week, he was like a low-end 3. So, maybe they are getting creative and they scheme all this shit for him every week. Well, then he's going to be a cheat code. I don't buy it. I don't know that they will. And against a tough, Xavier Rhodes is kind of the Rhodes closed has reemerged after last year. He was a guy to target. He seems to be pretty fired up and playing some good ball for the Colts there. So Beckham finds my bench, Craig. But you got a great little stable there. In my opinion. Do you bench Beckham there? I know that's a tricky one. Oh yeah, he brought it back right as we said it.
Yeah, those are. I'm always a Hollywood guy, and I hate Odell. So
you're benching Odell.
Yeah, and I do. That was like a really fluky game last week. It seems.
Yeah, I love it. One of my favorite things about this is when the comments and the pictures pop up now. My cousin will always Snapchat me zooming in on pictures and you have the weirdest followers I've ever seen. Because especially on Twitter, on Periscope, there's these weird little avatars and stuff. He's like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
I think Toons is holding a deer in his I love it. Standard with bonuses. Wide receivers, pick 2. Julio's out, so Cup and Juju it is. That one's easy. Watkins or Gallup. I'm going to go with Gallup there. You're looking for a blow up either way. And Watkins had his week 1 blow up and he's done typical clockwork. We got to make note of this, CJ. For every week 1, we need to have Watkins in our DraftKings lineups.
That's true, actually.
No more fucking around. It's always him and always Malcolm Brown. The full moon. They're both going to have big week 1s and then do nothing. I go Gallup here. He very well outlined, look at the Cowboys. Scott Barrett wrote it this week in his expected fantasy points. And right now, Amari Cooper ranks number 2 in the league in expected fantasy points, which is essentially based on targets, end zone targets, the yard line, the usage. And then you got CeeDee Lamb coming in at 12th in the league. And then Gallup's 54th. So it is kind of clear he's the distant 3rd now, which is what we predicted. And I'm pumped that one for anyone who listened to it. It's actually almost exactly as we outlined it. Amari Cooper is the Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams alpha. Lamb is a very good, complementary, when they had Randall Cobb also eating it. So we got monsters. And then Gallup is kind of that James Jones who will score 2 touchdowns suddenly and then do nothing for a couple weeks. And if they're going for I believe in Gallup to blow up more than I do Watkins, I guess is what it all boils down to. What do you think of this one though, CJ? Oh, you're muted. You're gone on me. Yep. I don't know if you hit a mute button. Yep, you're back.
I'm good.
Yeah,
that was right. No, I'm going Gallup there too. I can definitely see the 50-yard touchdown grab today against the Giants.
Yeah, exactly. Both are half PPR. Yep. Would you give Brandon Cooks one more try? Oh, I'm going Ayuk. I would. I've seen Cooks I cut Cooks actually in the league, and I've seen him in a lot of waivers. And I'm not sprinting to pick him up where I see him. So Timmy Gray, I would go Ayuk. I mean, back-to-back touchdowns. that he looks like a freak. Like you just see it,
Dude,
you know.
that touchdown was sick.
When he leaped over the guy,
Yeah.
like those wow plays. There's just only a few people that can make those types of plays, and I like to get wow players in my lineup. And he is definitely looking like a guy that has like a special gear to him. And I don't think it necessarily hurts him that everybody's coming back. Like, sure, maybe from a volume, but that's never really what you were playing him for, like a target hog role. It was more the creative usage, the way he's used, the play designs. Like, he's the perfect fit. Great after the catch, and we saw that on that one play. That's all we needed. And I think he gets at least one more of those against Miami. They give up tons of plays. So, yeah, I like Ayuk today. No reason for Brandon Cooks. This is terrible, Mateos. This is like best ball. Auto replace highest bench score, and I was the only one who said it was bullshit. Glad we're on the same page. This is total horseshit. I agree. You have to make a decision. It actually like is an advantage to have a guy with COVID, like or a team rather that has like a COVID decision, because then you just get the automatic best player.
Yeah,
That's
I think I would put my COVID guy in
every time. Because if he's the best, great. Well, I guess if he sucks and they play, then you get screwed.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I hate that. The whole point of not doing best ball and doing a regular seasonal league is to have to make decisions. I like best ball for those purposes of just give me my best lineup, and that's best ball. But when I play seasonal, I want to have to make those tough decisions. I want to have to grind it out. Your league mates are just lazy losers. Cut this clip if you want to. But Mateo, your league mates suck. Fuck them. That's just the worst. That's lazy. They just want to be lazy, not do their own. They can't make decisions for themselves. Little babies. They probably all live in your mom's basement, or not your their basement. Just, Mom, you make me pizza rolls. I can't decide on my fucking fantasy team. Come wipe my ass for me. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it, Mateo. You've pissed me off. And not you. You're on the right, but your league mates have pissed me off now. McKinnon or Sanders, full PPR. This is tricky because of Mostert returning. I don't like Sanders at all against Pittsburgh, though. You're a Sanders guy, CJ. How are you approaching this one? I think I'm going McKinnon.
I still like the volume for Sanders. I can't bench the bell cow.
The volume, sure, I get it, but against Pittsburgh, I don't know that it matters. They're so good. The least points to running backs right now. You know McKinnon's getting in the end zone. Like he's already got that streak going. They're going to keep it riding. So I go McKinnon there. Full PPR. Have to make the call by 1 p.m. Diggs, Chenault. So there we go. Somebody prefacing it the right way. You got to make the call, and you can't have a contingency plan. So here we go. Chenault to Renfro. Man, because I want to wait for Diggs. I think Diggs, if we get that game, he was like my lineup lock for DraftKings at 7,100. He's going to murder the Titans. Chenault is an interesting replacement. That sucks that you're not allowed to have like Chenault as your contingency plan. Like I hate that. Why? What's the logic to making us decide this for a situation none of us can control? Like, I don't know. Do you bench Diggs for Chenault just because? Like, is there any news right now that Tennessee's like? No,
I just looked. I haven't seen anything yet.
We know somebody tested positive today, right? So it's. I think they're going to take that game off and they're going to forfeit. So I got to go Chenault. If you're not allowed to have a contingency plan, my gut's telling me we don't get that game. And if I'm wrong, shit, because Diggs is probably going to have a monster. But Chenault could have a really, really good day too. I think this could be Chenault's coming out party, to be honest. So I'll go Chenault there. McKinnon or Gibson? I go Gibson. The copter prediction, right, this week, Ian Harditz?
Oh, I didn't even see it. Is it Gibson?
Yeah, 102. And honestly, I think the copter's been a little lackluster this year.
It's crashed on 3.
This is one that I'm getting on. I haven't liked any of the ones he's had. Maybe it's my owner bias in me because I have Gibson almost everywhere. But I do think this is the week. I mean, he had almost 100. He had over 100 total yards and 1 score last week, 20 fantasy points. Like, now we get 2 of them because clearly he's better at the goal line than Barber. Love it. I'm going Gibson there. And he did 20 points on only 40% of the snaps. When that flips, and it's going to flip, it's JD fucking McKissick. Why are we – Gibson can – he's a receiver. Like, Gibson can pass catch. I don't get it. It will flip, and then, once that flips, it's over. He's going to be a 20-point beast every week. Standard flex, Singletary or Gibson. I think, again, with Singletary being that Tuesday night risk, also Moss looks like he's about to be back. I like Gibson here.
I like Gibson either way.
Either way, yeah. I guess even with or without Moss, yeah. Good morning. I have Diggs in my opinions. Ridley and Mostert. Which one? Ridley. Calvin Ridley, baby. All about it. Don't get nervous about one goose egg. That guy's a beast. Mostert or McKinnon? I go McKinnon of the two. What would you go if you had both guys?
Yeah, I would give Mostert another week and roll with McKinnon this week.
All he's doing is getting it done for you. Like your team needs to also respect you as an owner. If you bench people that have only been getting it done for you for people that were hurt, then you might lose your fantasy locker room, David Glass. This is the easiest freaking decision in my opinion. Is he really number one kicker right now? Bullock? Wow.
I have no idea.
Wow. I had no idea if that is wow. Also, I'm always going to say coup. Unless you told me like freaking Greg Zerlin or Justin Tucker. I'm going coup, baby. Give me the coup. My boys. Giuseppe, our boy. Good to see you, my dude. Love it. Just I love my cousin's gonna again screenshot Giuseppe, guaranteed. She's like, because she thought me and Giuseppe were like best friends. Like one day, Giuseppe, we will meet and have a beer together. I can't wait. But we'll get all your questions. Standard with bonuses. Pick 2 QB, Herbert, Jimmy G, Tannehill. Again, Tannehill, you don't know what's gonna happen there. So I think you got to go Herbert, Jimmy G.
I think I'd feel comfortable even with like the sketchiness on Tuesday.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Even without it, just those two are great. Got Miami, and I like Herbert as a top 10 guy this week. Wolf, get him a Herbert jersey. Wolf and the Silent Assassin. Yes, definitely would love it.
Oh, nice. A nice powder blue one.
Yeah, I love those. The powder blues are the shit. When we win $1 million, we can get you a Herbert's going to be your QB, and you got to get a Herbert powder blue.
Hanging on the wall.
Exactly. John Brown, LaVisca, Debo, or Gage. Full PPR. Apologies for the burps there. I'm in some rough shape right now. When the hour one hits, I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then it's like the marathon hour starts to kick in. And if I'm hungover, it's like, oh boy. And I love it. You guys keep me going. I go, again, John Brown's my preferred. Are you allowed contingency plans? I don't. If you're not allowed contingency plans, it's got to be LaVisca.
We need after this show, we should have Taylor like chop up how many times you say contingency plans, and it just like a little counter. It's like ding ding ding.
Ding, ding. Yeah, exactly. Contingency. Set it to like a little beat too. Yeah, contingency plans. Nate would love that. Nate Shaw did a great beat of that. This is the tricky one. Because Debo's got a lot of upside against Miami if he gets the full compliments. I don't know that he does.
I think he like Gage the most right here.
Yeah, with Julio out, you know what? You're right. Like Gage needs – I'm going to make sure to open up my rankings tool because Gage is going to get a little bit of a bump up for me just to make sure. Yeah, I kind of like Gage. Visca, though, is the upside play, Justin. If you are like an underdog by a lot, I really think Visca could have a 25-something point day today. Go nuts. So – that I like him a little more than Gage. I mean, Gage's floor a bit more, but Visca is the ceiling in my opinion. Mark Moe, call me crazy. Bench Dak for Cousins. Yeah, crazy. You're psycho. Dak's thrown for more yards than anyone in NFL history through 4 weeks. And for Cousins,
I think doesn't he have the most fantasy points in the league?
Oh yeah, he other than Kamara, depending on your settings, probably if you're a half PPR, he has more points than Kamara too. Yeah, you're crazy. What for Cousins? Like I get like tonight. I think tonight's going to be a balls to the wall shootout, like 70 points, going to go berserk. But you'll never if you have the Russell Wilson side of it, okay, maybe you're benching for Dak, but otherwise, no. Kirk Cousins, come on, No, I hate that we spent even more than a second on that one. I regret it. Mark Moe, you're crazy. Do I start MT, Ayuk, Tate, Chenault, or AJ Green? If you don't have an MT backup plan, and it sounds like you don't, if you have Traquan or something on your bench, I wait it out.
I would cut AJ Green for Traquan, I think.
Yeah, you can cut AJ Green one and get rid of this guy. And if you can get like Traquan or somehow Sanders is out there, if you have a backup plan for MT, I think you wait it out. But if not, I'm going to go Ayuk. Ayuk or Visca. That's tricky. Oh, I feel
like MT's going to play. I'd be fine. I think rolling him up.
Yeah. So if you can wait to MT, you do it always. But if you can't, then I go Yeah, I don't. You're gonna wait for MT here? What if he
Yeah,
has
I
no
am.
backup plan? I don't know.
I would cut
I'm
AJ Green and try to get Drake on. That's what I would do. Or he could throw him in his flex and maybe a running back. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, maybe
Latavius or
flex, get
something.
a
I don't know.
backup. Like you have to have a backup plan. I have Ayuk though at 31 and Chenault 32. I just checked, so literally neck and neck. But I like Ayuk if you're benching MT there. Pick 2: Jacobs, David Johnson, Drake, or Gibson. I'm gonna bench. I'm gonna play Gibson Jacobs, I believe there. Gibson or Drake is a tricky question.
Yeah,
But I
like
think I
Drake over
bench
Gibson.
Drake. Gibson's only ascending, whereas Drake seems to be headed to hell real fast. I don't know. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I'm on board with you. I can't. That Drake is just a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rolling out Gibson and Drake. I gave Drake
Yeah.
the demotion to the flex.
Yeah.
Typical move. Definitely fire up the squad. But yeah, give me Gibson and Jacobs there. That's crazy. He's probably responding to this. Yeah, no, Mark Mo. Come on, grow up. Do I even waste space on Drake in my lineup this week, or is he a full on bust? Yeah, he's a waste of space, but unless you have to have you still have to have a good option because he's against the Jets, so you have to bench him, in my opinion. Start Julio if he plays, or Gage, or drop Gage for Zaccheaus. I'd rather have Gage than Zaccheaus. So go Gage. Giants allow under. I can't believe you're still talking.
Mark, stop.
Mark, I can't allow this to continue.
I can't wait for Cousins to go for like 50.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like 6 touchdowns.
You can come and feed us some crow, Mark, but there's no way I'm benching Dak for Cousins. You're a psycho if you do that. Literally, like, where are the bodies hidden at your house, Mark? No. You nutbag. Flex spot. Josh Kelly, T. Higgins, or Russell Gage. I go Gage, I think. Higgins or Gage. I mean, I'm not into Kelly this week. I really am not. I'm bumping Gage up in my rankings right now, and I think I'm going to put him above Crowder. Yeah, I'm going to put Gage right at 33 is where he gets bumped up to today.
Yeah, I'd lean Gage there too.
It's a good option. They're going to have to put up points. I think that game becomes a shootout. I'm going to bump up Zaccheaus as well. All righty. McKinnon or Gurley, PPR. I love Gurley today. I do. And I don't say that very often. But Carolina, I mean, the most touchdowns on the ground. I know Drake disappointed you last week, but ultimately they're not a good run defense. In fact, they're the worst, one of the worst in the league. So with the volume questions for McKinnon now popping up, this is one of those ones you really just ride Gurley. And he actually looked pretty good Monday night. Like this, he looked faster than I think he's looked in a while. And it was his highest graded game by Pro Football Focus in like 2 years. So maybe he's got a little juice back. He looked kind of sluggish and slow to start the year, but 2 touchdowns on Monday night. I think we could get 2 touchdowns again today. Crowder, Ayuk, Tate, or Chenault, PPR. I think I go Ayuk here. Again, 31, Chenault 32. I mean, Tate definitely one of my more intriguing streamers in my opinion this week, but I lean Ayuk there. He's more exciting to me. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I mean, it normally would be Crowder, but I don't know how the Flacco situation is going to be. He'll probably. Yeah. I know we hate him, but do you think Herndon now kind of has some?
I'll never, ever.
With Flacco always loved his tight ends. I don't
Hate
know.
you for even asking. Never will touch Chris Herndon again in my life. Landry, Sammy Watkins, or Ayuk? Ayuk for me. What about you?
Landry, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go Landry.
Can I trust AJ Brown, Mostert, or Mike Thomas? I mean, Mostert's guaranteed to be in at this point, right? Is that official? Has he been like officially deemed active yet? Do you want to look that up?
Probably within a few minutes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we'll know, I guess, officially soon. How can you trust AJ Brown? One, he's questionable himself, even if the game happens, but this game seems 50-50 at best, the way they just moved the Patriots game. So unless you're allowed to have backup plans, I don't think so, Mitchell. Mike Thomas, it seems like it's trending the right way, but then they also have the bye next week. So there is definitely the chance they're just like, you know what, we're going to rest you. Kind of like what the Packers did with Adams, it seems like. I could see that happening. So in which case, you go Mostert. Mr. Gibbons, Tyler Boyd, John Taylor in the flex, starting Hilaire and McKinnon. See, I would probably put Johnny Taylor in over McKinnon with Mostert back. And then I'd put Tyler Boyd in the flex over McKinnon as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think I'd get both those guys in. Mo Alley or Logan. It sucks that Mo Alley, like Trey Burton's now in the mix and Doyle's in the mix, but he seems to be the long guy. The long guy. What does that even mean? I meant to say the touchdown guy with his long body, and it just kind of all molded into one. Start the long guy, Mo Alley Cox. But the long Cox is going to deliver the strike this week.
Yeah.
He's been a good touchdown guy. So I think the Browns are giving up the most points to tight ends. I think they're going to have to throw. I think the Browns get an early lead, which could lead to Mo getting some more volume than usual. All three in my lineup, full PPR. Don't remember. You'll have to remind us.
That's the AJ Brown, Mostert, Mike Thomas.
Oh, they're all in the lineup? You're going to have some backup plans, Mitchell. That's tricky. Full PPR, Chenault or Landry. I go Chenault pretty confidently. What about you, CJ? You don't love Chenault, I don't think, like me.
I love him as a player. I'm afraid of the touches still. I know they want to start. I don't know. Landry's so guaranteed with targets, and I would just go with the safer floor with Landry.
If you ask Tunenberg, I'm sure he agrees with you too. He's the biggest Landry fan out
Wide
there.
receiver one.
Yeah. What do I give up to trade for Jarvis Landry? Chenault. I love Chenault today. I really think them saying they're going to get more touches for him. I'm going all in on that. So yeah, I go Chenault. He goes Landry for the higher floor, but I don't know. Landry's done nothing outside when he ropes it. Just a reminder, those of you tuning in a little late here, if you're willing to toss a like, especially if you're willing to toss a share or toss us into any Facebook groups you're in, on YouTube, any thumbs up greatly help. And if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, we're getting closer and closer to 1,000 every day. It'd be a great help. Those of you willing to give us those positive likes and whatnot. It's not just making us feel better. It actually helps us get discovered by more people. And it makes me feel so good when I see your likes and little happy faces pop up too. Yes. But no, thank you guys so much again. That stuff greatly does help. Shout out CJ for those player props on Thursday. I think it's
on Thursday.
You crushed on Thursday. Oh yeah. Brady, was he 23 under 23?
No, so that was my only loss. I went 4-1. So
I told you.
No. So it was 23.5. He was at 23. And then on that final, when they got the ball back with 10 seconds, he completed some dumb pass.
That's brutal.
So it hit 24.
Let me share. This is a good segue to your player props. I don't want to just toss them in at the last second like we typically do. So let me pull this up. And there we go. I got to pull this off the screen.
Yeah.
I got to pull this banner off the screen. There we go. So what do we got for some props today, CJ?
Yep. So I'm going Mustache over 1.5 touchdown passes, Daniel Jones 1.5 touchdown passes, and Carson Wentz over 14.5 rushing yards.
I feel like QB rushing props, and Wentz has been sneaky running all over the place.
So Daniel Jones, I've played him every week. His rushing prop, it's always been around 17, 18. And then they bumped up 26.5. So I'm off that now.
That's a little risky. Yeah, that's pretty high for him. I love all these over-unders in the Gardner Minshew game is 56.5, the highest of the day. So I like that a lot. And I think Daniel Jones, obviously against Dak, those games, I think 3 of the 4 Cowboy games have gone for 69 total or more over-under. So whatever that over-under is, I think it's 53.5. We're relying on the Giants, which is never a great bet to put up points. But I think this is their first soft matchup of the year. So I could, and Jason Garrett revenge narrative too.
Yeah, revenge game.
Revenge game for Garrett. I like it. I definitely like that one. What do we got for running backs today?
Jonathan Taylor over 65.5 rushing yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This is kind of a high number, but I still love it. Over 1.5 105 rushing yards and receiving yards combined. Le'Veon Bell, we talked about the Flacco peppering of the running backs, over 2.5 receptions, and then Gibson over 2.5 receptions too.
Yeah, and I think whatever the receiving yardage is for Gibson, earlier in the week it was 18.5, which is a joke. I love all these except Taylor. It seems low, but I am getting nervous of that usage, and I think they might get down early. I think Kareem Hunt's going to have a big day, which leads to a lot of comeback mode and maybe more Nyheim Hines than we expect. So the one I don't like there is Taylor. I love all the rest of them there. I think I went to a different post by accident. 1 sec. Back to the props. Receivers.
Yep. So kind of to pair with Minshew, I have Chark over 56.5 yards, CeeDee Lamb over 4.5 receptions, Justin Jefferson over 4.5 receptions, and Hollywood over 56.5 yards.
I love them all. Hollywood's probably the biggest risk just because, again, that he can just disappear week to week. But Jefferson's that game's going to be a shootout. Those receivers are going to crush it. Lamb's definitely going to have, 4.5. It's right on the line. But I think, as long as the Giants keep that competitive, we get that. Hollywood Brown, the only one that makes me slightly nervous, and I'm not nervous because I think he could go for 150 today. So I like that a lot.
He just needs 2 receptions really to get over that.
Exactly.
Tight end props, I'm going to go Evan Ingram over 4.5 receptions. I think his receiving total is around 45.5 too. So I kind of like that. Ebron to score a touchdown, and then my guy Herndon over 27.5 receiving yards.
Cross off Herndon. Hate that. Don't ever put money on Herndon ever again in your life, folks. I love the Ebron one, and I actually would wonder what the first touchdown is in that one, because I think Ebron.
I think 1,500.
I think that's a sneaky. Are you allowed to parlay score a touchdown and first touchdown together?
No, at least I know on mine that you can't parlay props.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
You might be able to on DraftKings just because you're able to do anything really on that website.
Yeah. Yes. No, I love Ebron to score, and I also think he could be the first touchdown. So awesome. Well, CJ, thank you for your props. Did you compile your record? I know I was asking you to. Have you figured out what your record is yet?
Nope, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you got to figure that out today. That's your homework, is figuring out your record. Because I really do think the only reason I've been pushing it as hard as I have. I think you're at like 70% at least, maybe even higher. I always check them during the early. Like I feel like they always hit like early on in the first half of games. It's like, all right, that one hit, and then we still have a whole half. So I feel like you've been crushing those. So he's at about 70%, as Giuseppe said. It's been money on Thursdays for our player props here. But let's get back on in. That was our 12 o'clock. We'll maybe schedule some segments throughout the thing. 12 o'clock, we'll always do your player props. And we'll have a little sweet segment from what's his name? Taylor makes these awesome little transitions now. But back to your questions, folks. The mailbag again. Should I start Jonnu Smith with all the COVID going around? I mean, as long, again, as you can have the contingency plan. I'm going to say that 10,000 times literally today. I hate it. I don't want to say it anymore. If you're allowed to wait and submit a backup, which every league should do, I want to reiterate that to any commissioners out there, to any people, without that in your league right now. It's worth it. Just because you don't have it yet doesn't mean your league can't improve if you didn't come up with something to start the year. You should allow contingency plans. This is a unprecedented circumstance, and we need to be flexible, folks. But if not, it is a risk. I think that game is at best a coin flip to happen right now. And if you are not allowed to have a backup plan for Jono, then you probably have to have someone else in. Hi, Sean Clips. Hello. Half PPR flex, Freeman, Bell, or Greg Ward. I think this is where I'd go Bell, probably. Pittsburgh for Ward, not great. Freeman, though, isn't in Dallas. They gave up 307 and 3 touchdowns on the ground last week. They can be had on the ground. I could see Freeman, 54% of the snaps, almost 44% of the carries last week, taking over kind of. I still go Bell, but Freeman isn't a bad desperation play either this week. Worried about Roby shadowing Chark at all? I know Min did work on Houston, especially Thielen. No, I'm not worried about it. Chark, 2 touchdowns, 98 yards. That defense doesn't scare me at all. David Johnson or Antonio Gibson, half PPR. Very close, especially with, I think, the Texans going to establish the run today, but I love Gibson. I think Gibson just keeps getting better and better. I'm following that path. I'm following those signs, and I'm just going in on Gibson. What about you, CJ, Gibson versus David Johnson?
Yeah, I'm going Gibson there. David Johnson is just dead again.
he looks slow. He gets slower by the week. Can you guys, Sean Clips, give me thoughts of my trade this week? Gave Jefferson, Julio, Connor, McKinnon. Carson, Mixon, Fuller. I think you win that trade. I think you sold high on McKinnon. I think Connor's always a ticking time bomb. Julio seems like he's going to be a headache. I don't love giving up Jefferson right now, but like your yield is I'd rather have Fuller. I think Fuller versus Jefferson season long's close, but if we get 16 from Fuller, he's gonna light it up. Carson and Mixon though, two RB1s right now. So anytime you can get two RB1s, I think you win that trade. Yeah. Taylor or Drake? I go Taylor and just hope for the touchdown, I guess. I don't know. What do you think of John Taylor versus Drake?
I'm going Taylor there. Drake, I just can't do it right now.
He's such an asshole. He's going to have the Mixon type of week, though, isn't he? 3 touchdowns today. I hope so. I could certainly use it in fantasy. Full PPR, need to pick up Chenault, Renfro, or Gage. See, I'm about Chenault. I know CJ's about Gage. So, yeah, we've answered that one earlier. Renfro's not the answer. I'm iffy about Mixon long-term, but what do you think? I love the receiving work. I think today's going to be a very telling day, Sean Clips. If they get down early and Mixon stays in and Steele sees the targets, he's locked into top 5 the rest of the year. If they get down early and suddenly it's 40% Gio Bernard again, then I'm pissed. But we did see 6 targets to 0 from Mixon versus Bernard last week. The first time Bernard had never seen a target. So that's the right trend. That's what we want to see. And that's the difference between him being this nightmare and him being a monster. I think we finally see it. Schultz or Hurst? I have Lamb and Zeke. I go Schultz. I'm going Dalton. What do you think? You're a Hurst guy, I know. What do you think of Schultz versus Hurst?
Today I think he has Lamb and Zeke too. Today I go Hurst today with Julio out.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess the Julio out does help a little, but I'm a big Dalton guy. Teddy or Herbert? 6-point passing touchdowns. I think Teddy's throwing 3. Herbert, it depends on that secondary and how banged up they are, but that line's going to be, atrocious. A lot of pressure on him. I'm going to go Teddy. What are your thoughts on Teddy versus your boy Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I'd go Teddy there. I love Herbert obviously, but yeah, I'm going Teddy there.
Is Juju and Deontay as my 2 wide receivers a good idea, even though they're on the same team? I don't love it. They're both, they're one of the few teams you can pull that off with, but not in the wrong matchup. It doesn't work out. And, Slay is going to be on one of those guys. And it's not like it's a lock that he takes him out of the game, but you're relying on Big Ben to go for like 270 and 2. And he more often than not will, but Ebron's also there too. So I don't love it. I would try to trade one of those guys if I could. I never like having 2 starters most times. Hollywood Brown, John Kelly, T. Higgins. I'm going Hollywood. I still believe in him. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm going Hollywood there.
Cardea and Miranda, Jarek McKinnon, Tyler Boyd, and DJ Moore. I go Boyd here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd lean Boyd a little bit over Moore, I think. But yeah,
the upside's there for DJ Moore. I mean, this could be 150 and 2. This could be the coming out party. So like Mixon's was last week. The door was wide open against Jaguars. The door is wide open against Atlanta. They are awful. So Moore could explode. Boyd has been great. He's been 8 catches a week, 100 yards a week. Baltimore seems scary on paper, but I think they have a better reputation than what their actual secondary is. So give me Boyd. Jimmy G, Drew B, or Ryan T as the quarterback. Who's Drew? Oh, Breeze.
Drew Bledsoe.
I think I go Breeze there. That Chargers secondary. I mean, 5 touchdowns to Brady last week. They're dinged up beyond all belief, and you might get MT back. You have good weapons regardless. I go Breeze there. I can't wait for Ryan Tannehill. He does not bring enough upside. And then Jimmy G against Miami, definitely intriguing, but he's also coming off an injury. So yeah, I go Breeze. Do you agree with that? What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I don't really love Jimmy Garoppolo as a fantasy guy. Breeze and then Tannehill, I don't know. We still have that sketchy Tuesday thing happening, so I Breeze.
Yeah, I have Breeze 13. I'm bumping Herbert down a little bit. I'm just going all in on Teddy this week. Top 10, top 9. So let me bump down Goff below Bridge. I'm even going to put Big Ben below Bridge. Call me a psycho, but fuck, I can't. I'll do this later because the tool is not working right now. So all my rankings get fucked up. Bam. Okay, now we're good. Alrighty, so Teddy Bridge, my boy, this week at quarterback. Mixon versus Baltimore, the dude. Or Connor versus Eagles. Pretty good one. I'd like to have them both in my lineup. I'm wondering who's in over both those guys. But I like Connor. I saw a good stat from Graham Barfield this week where when the Steelers win, he scores like 23.5 versus 10 in losses. And they're projected to be 2-score favorites over the Eagles this week. So I lean Connor there. What about you though? Mixon versus Connor.
I'm riding with Mixon after that big week. Still think he's gonna be a boss.
If he gets the receiving involvement still, that's my worry is if they get the script does not favor him. If the script favors him, he's going to have probably even better game if they get down early and he's still the receiving guy because he's been awesome as a receiver this year. He always is.
Yeah, I'd go. I think Mixon kind of proved that he can do that last week. Well,
he's always
been able to do it. But.
That's what makes me nervous. Is we've already seen it, and if they go back to their old ways, if you have a good option like Connor, I think it's worth seeing the game flow of this week. T. Higgins and AJ Brown for Julio. I don't think so. Julio seems kind of like a headache right now. Will he get right? Probably, but like even when he gets right, Ridley's so good. I got to shout out Dane. I don't know if Dane's watching Chase Market Gains, but he wrote an article this how Julio should not be a top 12 guy anymore this year. How he thought Ridley was going to take over. The hamstrings have always been a concern. I mean, it's like the guy had a crystal ball.
James Robinson too.
Yeah, James Robinson. Chase Market Gains has that crystal ball, that alien superpower, whatever the hell he was writing about with Antonio Gibson from Star Trek. I don't even know. One of the weirder articles we've ever had on the site, but very entertaining. I'm liking his stuff. Singletary or McKinnon for Noah Schreiner. PPR. I think I go McKinnon. The risk of Singletary being on the Tuesday, the COVID. I think I go McKinnon.
Yeah, I'm going McKinnon too. And I hate Singletary after he didn't get my prop last week.
Yeah. Screw Trevor. Kyle Trask is going to be better. I don't know anything about college football. So, CJ, you want to take that one?
Justin Fields. I want Justin Fields to stay the hell away from Washington, though. That cannot happen. Can't ruin 2 of my quarterbacks.
Yeah. They're going to ruin both your OSU boys. Bench Dak for Mark Rowe is full on this movement still. What a nutcase. Mark, I'm questioning your sanity, my friend. Anthony Fella, my dude. I'm stuck with the COVID stuff. So flex, C. Samuel or Ebron. I'm gonna go Ebron there. I do think that Panthers team blows up, but like Samuel's been nowhere to be found in it. I think Ebron finds the end zone. So I don't know. What do you think about that, CJ?
Yeah, I like the touchdown for Ebron, and it's weird. Robbie Anderson's becoming like a real receiver and not just like a vertical guy.
Yeah, it's been
He's taking the Samuel role that we thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Ebron touchdown, better bet. Gage or Z-Man. As fun as it is to say Z-Man, I think I got to go Gage here. Z-Man was the guy on Monday night, but Gage has been there longer, and they had more time to kind of plan around Julio most likely being out. I bet Gage was a bigger part of that game plan, in my opinion. Deontay or Marquise for Taylor Malone. What up, Taylor? I go Marquise there. Deontay is probably going to draw Slay. And again, not that that's impossible to score on, but I just think Marquise is going to blow it up today. What do you think of Deontay? I know you're a Deontay fan, so is that
No, but I'm a bigger Hollywood guy. Yeah, right. I'm going Hollywood there.
We're not giving up on our Hollywood train yet. Risk it with Diggs or plug in Hollywood. I think you got to plug in Hollywood 909. By saying you're risking it, I imagine you're not allowed a contingency plan. So yeah, if you're allowed to risk it and then have Hollywood as like your fill-in, which it should be, I would have Diggs over Hollywood by a lot. I really think Diggs kills Tennessee if we get this game, but I just don't know that we're going to get it. You're asking me to predict if we're going to get a fucking COVID-related game. How you can't bank on that. You just can't, is my opinion on that. I think Diggs' upside is amazing and should, I think you should be allowed the shot at that without penalty. It sucks that you have to risk it, is all I will say. I'd go Hollywood Brown personally, if you have to risk it. Pick RB2 and flex, Taylor, Gibson, Drake, Chark. I'm going to lock in Taylor for the running back 2. Then it comes down to kind of Gibson or Chark for me. That's a good one. I really think Gibson kills it today. I really do. Chark's the smarter play, the higher floor. But I like Gibson.
I think I love Gibson this week too, but I think I'd go Chark there. I'm
going Gibson, CJ's going Chark, and Taylor's our guy that's in no matter what. I don't want to speak for you. Is Taylor in no matter what? Yeah.
Yep.
Josh Allen, Tannehill. That sucks. You need a QB3. I would probably just cut Tannehill, first of all. Because Tennessee, I don't want anything in my fantasy locker room that has to do with Tennessee other than maybe Derrick Henry at this point, maybe A.J. Brown. Which means I have to drop Moss, Jay White, or Latavius. I would drop Tannehill before those guys. I wouldn't hesitate to drop Moss either, though. Moss isn't a must-hold, in my opinion, anymore. I want to see what he does now that he's back, but I think I'd cut Tannehill before I'd cut Zach Moss. What do you think?
Yeah, there's no reason to even carry 3 quarterbacks either. That's silly.
So unless Tannehill's like, if he was your backup to fill in for Allen, that'd be great.
Josh Allen's a stud too. You should be starting him every week. So.
You only need Josh Allen and then like a bye week replacement or these emergency placements. PPR flex, Gibson, McKinnon, or AJ Brown. I'm gonna go Gibson there. I'm going Gibson. What do you think for KDG Gear?
Yep, on board with you.
Mostert or Gallup for PPR. Our man Steven, I feel like we haven't seen much of Filipiak this year. Where have you been, Filipiak? We've
still commenting on our stuff though.
Does every now and again? Okay, good. All right. As long as he's active. Jordan and Filipiak came together. I don't know if they were friends or not. I remember we recruited them at the same time from the Facebook boost out of Michigan. They're both Michigan boys. Where has Jordan Teat been?
He's not playing fantasy this year.
Oh, he's not?
No, I think he came in our last show. I think he said that or commented it or something. Said it was too much of a mess for him, so he's not playing this year. We all probably should have did that.
Yeah. I'm going to go. I think I go. It's PPR. Maybe you go Gal. I think I go Mostert. I really think both 49ers backs find the end zone today. So I go Mostert here. What do you think about?
Yeah, I think that's a little safer, even though it's not safe. I think it's safer.
Yeah,
I think it's Gallup can either get you 0 or he's gonna get you 25. So
it's tough getting those second half penis touches without Chubb. He's like the definition of second half penis touches because he usually just rolls with a big lead. Hopefully you have Robinson in the second half touches that are coming. Craig Sarno. Mark Prieto. Is Ebron a good start replacing for Jonnu? Yeah, I really like Ebron. I mean, we just saw George Kittle go 15 and 180 on him. And again, Ebron's not George Kittle's usage will never be that, but they also gave up a touchdown to Logan Thomas in week 1. Higbee had 3 touchdowns against them. So I'm into it. I'm into Ebron as a replacement for Jonnu. Yes. Need 2 in standard. Carson, Connor, Taylor, David Johnson. I'm going Carson, Connor. I think I'm benching Taylor out of these options and David Johnson. Who are you? Are you going Carson, Connor as well, or is Taylor over those guys?
I think Carson, Taylor. I feel good with Taylor this week. I don't know why.
Hey, there you go. T.Y. Watkins or Kirk at flex, half PPR, none. Nick Terrio. They all suck. I don't want any of them in my lineup. If I have to go one of them, I guess Kirk, but I'd go Z-Man. I think I would go to Z-Man. Would you, CJ, for the Falcons over these guys?
I think Watkins hasn't been horrendous. I don't think. I just don't think that he just doesn't replicate what he did in week 1. But I think, doesn't he get 6 to 8 catches a week-ish?
Not really, no. Watkins has done, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't own Watkins. I don't really care about Watkins.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Maybe he's been okay. I certainly don't know. I would start Zaccheaus or, if he's still out there as a streamer over those guys. Flex L Bell or Juju. I go Juju there. Safer. Let's see what Lev Bell has before we use him. My man Omar. Wolf and CJ, my guys, what a morning. Seriously. Waking up to find out the Patriots are moved and everything's burning to shit. No Julio plays Zaccheaus or Renfro. I go Zaccheaus over Renfro. What do you think?
Yep, I'm bored with that.
I think I'm just pissed at Renfro because I really liked him last week and he just kind of did jack shit. He could be in a good comeback mode, dinks for full PPR here, but I think Zaccheaus is very intriguing. could be a complete dud.
We always have this one guy every week that that's like 1% owned and he sucks.
Troutman last week, yeah.
Yeah.
We got Burkhead in week 3 though. We nailed
Yeah,
our streamer in
that's
week 3, so we're like 1 for 2, and I think Zacchaeus is a good one this week. I do. T. Higgins and AJ Brown for my Julio. Not going to do it, but wanted to know your perspective. I would get rid of Julio for AJ Brown and Higgins. I think Higgins is only going up. I don't buy AJ Green. I think he's taken that role. And then AJ Brown, I think that's a good buy low. So yeah, I like AJ Brown. Craig Sarno he put the pick back for us, and now he explains the context. Bleached perm, one of my many.
Oh, it's real. Jeez, I thought it was a wig.
That's real. I love it. This makes me love you even more, Craig Sarno. Pick from 1996, bleached perm.
Oh my god,
that would be a good fantasy punishment. Like the loser has to get a bleached perm and rock it around for a month. I love it. I think it looks great on you, Craig. You should definitely go back to the bleached perm full time for us. That's awesome. XX, ooh, the sexy polar bear. XX true polar bear. XX, ooh, Traquan Smith, Sammy Watkins, T. Higgins, or Golden Tate. Should I risk? Well, if you're the polar bear, the sexy polar bear, you take your risks. No, I'm gonna. That's tough, actually. Though I don't. I mean,
I'd probably Higgins.
Yeah, I can't endorse risking anybody right now with it a 50-50. And Smith would be valuable if MT sits, but we don't know that. So yeah, Higgins. I mean, again, Baltimore not that scary as I think they're made out to be. I like Higgins there. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Omar F, my man. Mr. Foster. Pick 3, full PPR. Ridley, McLaurin, Parker, Boyd. Thanks again. I think I'm benching McLaurin with new quarterback, with Ramsey shadow. A lot of questions to him. Whereas Parker seems like it's not the most appetizing, but that defense is banged up, and we know Fitzmagic peppers him. So I go Ridley, Parker, Boyd, and I bench McLaurin. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. I like those 3 options.
I recommended benching McLaurin last week, and he shoved it in my face wherever he shoved it. But I think I bench him this week. Renfro, Chenault, Cole Beasley, half PPR for Mr. Nadella. I go Chenault there. I really like Chenault this week. I think he blows up. Renfro might be the safest because of the comeback mode, and actually Beasley's floor has been pretty high, but that's Tuesday risk. I go Chenault there. Personally.
Yeah, I go Visca.
Half PPR flex, Mostert, Robert Woods, Jefferson, Gibson. Wow. Pretty good option. I don't go Mostert. He's risky. I think I go Jefferson or Gibson over Woods. Call me crazy, but Woods has been like a nice floor, but pretty low ceiling. And Washington, I don't know why their secondary is not good, but they have somehow been like top 2 or 3 against wide receivers this year.
Yeah, I noticed that this week.
I don't know. It's still early in the season, so there's a few teams like, for example, I think the Raiders are like number 5 worst matchup for tight ends. But then you look at who they played, and it's like, okay, they faced no tight ends that are ever going to do anything to them. So like that could be part of it. Like I don't know who Washington has faced for wide receivers.
Or it could be teams getting up early on them and they kind of just like run the ball, and
which could happen to Woods, right? So I'm leaning either Jefferson or Gibson. Big fans of both. That's tough. I think Vikings, that game's going to shoot out. I really do. And Jefferson's been a monster back-to-back weeks. So give me Jefferson. And I love Gibson this week. I really do. Who are you going? Gibson, Jefferson, Woods?
Woods.
You're going Woods after all of that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I go Jefferson. No questions. Just love the wolf. Thank you, Matthew. This is Murray, the Winthrop man that ended our Beverly run. So I love you too, Murray. 1 and 3 needs good karma. You can't announce that. You came in and you get your karma by just kind of saying you love us. When you announce you need the good karma, now your love seems a little bit tainted. It seems like it wasn't done for just pure love. It's just a little alternative motives here. Murray, fake loving us just for karma. No, good luck today, Murray. Who are you facing? Let us know. My boy DeIndia, his team's monstrous, if I remember correctly in that league. As long as Bailey sucks, that's all I care about. We need to get some swag behind CJ. The bear wall is killing me. He looks like he's in a fucking prison. I say that every week.
I have our Roto Street banner.
Why haven't you hung it up? Yeah, hang it up.
I don't know. I have to like do like fucking. That's a heavy banner. I probably have to do like a hammer and nail or something.
Yeah, you just hammer 2 nails in. Just do it.
I don't do that.
Contingency plans. He looks like he works in the IT department. Hi, I'm calling to see if you have any complaints for your Comcast service. This is CJ. Yeah, exactly. Your IT department.
For some reason, my Apple headphones don't work on my computer. Well, at least the microphone part doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. You do. I think that's a good call, Taylor. Definitely a IT worker, CJ. Need 2 flexes, half PPR. CD, McKinnon, Diggs, Josh Kelly. So CD's my lock. Diggs, again, if you're allowed, our favorite word of the day, contingency plan. If you're allowed that, you go with Diggs. If not, it's real tough to go for that risk. I again want to emphasize, if we get that game, Diggs is going to murder Tennessee. I just know it, but I just don't know we're going to get the game, and I cannot be the one that sits here and tells you to play him, and then the game gets called off. Like, that's, if you want to risk that, then Diggs is going to be a monster should he play. I wouldn't personally risk it. I would go CD and I would go McKinnon. I don't want to trust Josh Kelly yet. No offensive line in front of him, fumbling issues. If he shows up and is great, awesome. Now I know I have a guy. To me, Eckler's injury, they're saying like 4 to 6 weeks. Then there's some reports coming out like the tendon's not even attached, and like it could be like season. So there's a chance Kelly could be the guy rest of the year. I'm excited to see him. He's one of my favorite storylines to watch today, or Monday rather for him. But I'm not risking it. The Bills game, the Bills Titans. Unfortunately, I think that game could have huge upside with fireworks. But we saw what happened with the Patriots today, and I think if you're allowed to have a backup, which every league should, I think you go Diggs and CD. If not, you got to go CD McKinnon, in my opinion. Thanks for all the help, guys. This year is batshit crazy. Dylan, that's why we're here, man, trying to get through all this shit together. And thanks for coming in every Sunday. We love seeing you. Tate or Crowder, PPR with bonuses. I have a hard time trusting Crowder with Flacco. I mean, it's not, there's worse backups in the league than Flacco for sure. But I think I like Tate today. I really think Tate could have fired up last week, got in that fight. Coach had his back. Like, I'm liking the way Tate's trending. I think this is the week he comes out. I love him at 4,600 on DraftKings. Everybody's going to be all in on Slayton on DraftKings, only $200 more. He's projected to be 20% owned. Tate's going to be 5% owned. I love that pivot. I think that could be a slate changing pivot. Or you just stack both of them with Danny Jones. And I know Jimbo would puke if he was watching this right now. But that's one of my Millie Maker stacks today. I've gone Carolina stack, double stack. I've gone Houston double stack. I don't know if I love that one though. Not Houston, rather Jacksonville. And then I've got a Danny Jones and I've got a Dak one. Those are kind of like my 4 lineup constructions. Teddy one being my favorite. So Tate though, I know I kind of veered off. I had a little ADHD moment there, Steven, but I roll Tate. What do you think? You've been a big Crowder guy, so I want to. Yeah,
but
how worried are you with Flacco?
Yeah, I think just this week, I feel like Flacco's more of just like an air it out guy, and then he throws the running backs a lot, but he'll throw his patented like 60-yard bombs to nowhere and get pass interferences. But yeah, I think Crowder's more of a guy with Darnold. I'd go Tate this week.
Yeah, it's tricky. We'll see just how is it the rapport that's the reason, or is Gase just like the one position he's good at scheming for is slots? Yeah. I mean, we did see with Jarvis Landry like ridiculous peppering, and that's kind of
when's the last time Flacco's played in a game?
A full season, right? He was with the Broncos last year.
Oh yeah,
he played like a couple early season games, right? Like
I have no idea. I can't even picture him.
Hideous. It's not good. I go Tate personally. Givenchy, Drake, Mostert, or Gibson. I'm going to go Gibson. I don't want to play Drake if I don't have to. He's going to probably score 2 touchdowns. You know, it's how it always goes, but I don't want to play Drake if I don't have to. What about you for this one?
I'm going Gibson there. Yeah. Drake can't do it right now, and then Mostert going to wait another week.
Cole Beasley, Le'Veon Bell, or I'm going to go Le'Veon Bell versus Cole Beasley. Hurst or Schultz? I said Schultz. You like Hurst today, though, right?
Yeah, over Schultz.
It's a risk. Schultz, my boy. Are Visca, Ayuk, or Zacchaeus better plays than Gallup? I'd have to cut Gallup, Moss, Swift, or Judy to start someone other than Gallup. See, I think I'd rather own Ayuk than Moss, and I'd rather own Visca than Moss. So I would cut Moss for either of those guys anyways. Now, do I put him in over Gallup? I think I put Ayuk in. What do you do?
You said you'd put both of them in?
I would put Ayuk in first. But all of those guys, you're hoping for the blow up. I would cut Moss for Ayuk, and I think I put him in over Gallup. Who do you put in out of these guys?
I would start Gallup, but I would add probably Ayuk instead of Moss.
Yeah. So you're going to start Gallup either way, but you are going to add Ayuk. Yeah. Okay. I add Ayuk and I play Ayuk. Either way, cut Moss for Ayuk. I hope you say his name right too. We say him like 8 times a broadcast.
Yeah, I think it's Ayuk.
He's just awesome. He's one of those players that pops up. You talk about the eyeball test. He's one of those guys that just pops and passes the eyeball test very well. I got to just keep updating with this game being moved. I'm looking through the rankings and noticing there's some guys that are out. I want to make sure we have the most up-to-date rankings on the site for these last 20 minutes. So, guys,
I was going to say, should we just do like a quick, still have like 30 questions left?
Yeah, do you want to start? Are you able to click them and pull them up, or am I the only one?
No, I can't.
That sucks. Because I really want to make sure I get these guys out. I didn't have Justin fucking all right. Here we go. Full PPR, no contingency plan. Thank you for prefacing. Chenault, Diggs, Traquan. I'm going to go Chenault without the contingency plan. Wolf, D. Henderson, or Ingram. Baba Gadoosh. I don't want to have Henderson in right now. That's risky. I could see him rebounding too, but I don't like Ingram. I don't know. This is gross. Neither. Like, can you flex someone else?
Ingram.
Yeah, we talked about. I think Ingram could score 2 touchdowns today. I wouldn't be surprised. We already answered that one for Juan. Morning, fellas. Full PPR, sit one. Gurley, Singletary, or Deontay Johnson?
Singletary.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I said Singletary there. I'm a Giants fan, and the Giants suck. That's the truth. No argument here. Minshew or Goff, 6-point TD. I lean Goff, but I don't know. Minshew, I like the setup for him today.
Yeah, I like Minshew today.
I go Goff personally. Kraus. Who should I put in my flex PPR? Jefferson, DJ Moore, Robert Woods, or do I risk Mostert? I go Jefferson. I already said. I know you like Woods though more, right? Do you go DJ Moore over everybody?
Let's go Jefferson ceiling.
Okay. I like Jefferson too. I think that game's going to be awesome tonight. PPR full. Ayuk, Debo, Kelly. I'm going to go Ayuk over Debo, and then I don't trust Kelly quite yet. Teddy B or Matt Ryan, a better option. I'm going to go Matty Ice, although without Julio, that is a hit. Wouldn't be shocked to see Teddy. Ceiling is higher, I'd say, with Teddy without Julio in. But he can still put up his points, Matt Ryan. I think. Well, he didn't really on Monday night. I think I go Matt Ryan. What do you think of this one, CJ?
Yeah, I think Ryan's the safer play, even though without Julio, I don't really think it really matters that much. They'll still put up their points.
I really think Teddy's going to kill it today, though. He's my play, play of the week. I would stream him anywhere I could. I have Ryan higher in my rankings, but I really think, especially if you need ceiling, Teddy Bridgewater is the play. Thoughts here is to start Smith to hold the spot an extra day for Diggs. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, you're saying like Traquan. But then if Thomas plays, right, then what's Traquan worth? Probably not much, David. I see what you're thinking, and I don't mind that mindset, though, because Diggs is kind of worth holding it out for. But I also think Chenault's going to go crazy today. Jacob Rollins, which 3? We got, how many more do we have? Oh, yeah, we got a good amount. So we're at that point where we got to just start ripping them. Start which 3? OBJ, Fuller, Diggs, Moore, Deontay. So I'm gonna just not ever say anybody that's on Tuesday unless you tell me that you have a contingency plan. So no more Diggs, no more John Brown. They're crossed off. So I'm not even gonna think about them anymore. So it comes down to OBJ, Fuller, Moore, or Johnson. I would probably go Fuller, Moore, and OBJ personally. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, Moore. Yeah, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Fuller.
So you're benching OBJ. Yeah. You hate OBJ. Sean Urbase. What do you think of this trade? I'm not analyzing a trade right now. Ty or T Higgins at flex? Never Ty. So T Higgins, Nick Terrio. Need to flex to Mckinnon. Sean, you can DM us. I'll analyze it for you some other time, but not wasting time when we have like 50 questions to get to in 10 minutes. Need to flex to McKinnon, Debo, Kelly, Henderson. One sec, CJ. Why don't you can you take that so I can get these updated rankings out? I want to make sure. I don't
Yeah,
want to
flexing two there. So McKinnon, Debo, Kelly, Henderson. No Henderson. Debo a little sketchy. I go McKinnon and Kelly.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially because it's two 49ers on the same team. Kelly, I still am nervous about. I really am. So McKinnon's the only one that I'm locking in there. I feel decent about I go McKinnon, Kelly. I think I agree with that.
Start Gesicki or Schultz full PPR. I know you're a Schultz guy, and I think that's the play this week.
Yeah, I like Schultz. Always a Schultz guy. Props galore, straight degenerate status. Oh yeah, that's one way to describe it. Yes.
DJ Chark or Boyd. It's tough actually. I'd lean Chark there, I think.
Chark, yeah.
Yeah. Over Boyd.
I go Boyd personally. I think again, there's a lot of studies about how Burrow just crushes man coverage, and the Ravens run it higher than anybody. So
yeah, their defense kind of sucks now.
They really aren't anything special at all. So yeah, I like that. That's where I'm leaning myself. David Johnson or Gibson?
Yeah.
Gibson. Gibson or Drake this week, fella. Thanks for Chuck donate. I go Gibson. We've answered that one a couple of times. I'm all in on Gibson. One's going this way, the other's going the downward way. And Gibson's the one. I'm going to ride the upward train for sure. Can you check real quick on the site, CJ? I'll keep ripping answers. Can you see if the rankings updated to get all the Patriots and Broncos out? I just want to make sure that's looking okay. Flex, Hardman, Ruggs, or Duke? I'm going to go Hardman, not Duke. Fuck Duke. And then it's Hardman versus Ruggs. You're going for a big play. Hardman's the one pulling off the big plays right now, so give me him. Sanjeezy, start Josh Allen or don't take the risk and start Herbert. I wouldn't take the risk. I guess you get another day to see. That's what's nice about the Monday night. If you get word that it's good to go tomorrow,
you didn't update it.
It's not updated yet.
No, Damian Harris is still in. James White is still in.
Okay, I gotta just put this new code in there. So I'm not risking Allen if there's anything, but that extra day again should give you the time you need. All right, let me go to the post. Week 5. Yeah, I'll pull this up if you can take that question while I copy and paste.
Would you start McKinnon, Crowder, or DJ Moore in PPR in the flex? I'm going DJ Moore there.
Me too. I DJ Moore a lot more than those other guys.
Need 2 for standard. Connor, Carson, Jonathan Taylor, David Johnson. I know you're into Connor this week.
Yep.
Carson's
I'm going Connor Carson myself.
Yeah.
You like Taylor though? Who do you?
I do.
Know? What's that?
I do. I'd probably go Carson, Taylor, but Connor's fine too. They're right. Yeah. They're right around each other.
I think Connor's great. Again, that stat in wins, 23.5 points on average, and they're projected to win by 2 scores. So that's where I'm leaning. Alan Villanueva, what do we got?
Pick 2, James Robinson, Hunt, Jacobs, Taylor. Yikes. Let's Hunt Jacobs.
I'm going Robinson Hunt. I love Robinson this week. He's my number, I think, 5 or 6 running back. Houston's given up more points, 3rd most points, most rushing yards on the ground. And everybody thinks that one's going to be a shootout, but I really think it might just be the Robinson show, a 30-point day like we got from him a couple of weeks ago is where I'm leaning. All right, I put the new code in, so let me update that. I just hit update. So CJ, you want to double check? It's just refreshed now. The updated rankings have gotten up there. And I'll keep ripping these. Just picked up Cook. So Cook or Ebron in the flex. Cook, we don't know. He's questionable. So I have Ebron ranked higher right now. Really stressing go Ayuk over MT. Again, Giuseppe, you're asking me to predict, is MT going to play? I don't know. It seems like it's trending the right way, but it also did with Adams last week, and then he didn't play. So to me, I would probably go Ayuk unless you have a Traquan Smith lingering or a decent backup plan. Otherwise, I'm going Ayuk. He's a good option anyways. And then that gives you a chance to see MT. If you have a backup plan, though, MT is always worth waiting for. Manuel, need to start 2 of these. Myles Gaskin, Freeman, Le'Veon. I definitely think I'm going Le'Veon because of the receiving upside today. And then Gaskin's been pretty sturdy, but I like Freeman. I'm Freeman. This is like the week to stream him, in my opinion, against Dallas. So I think I'm benching Gaskin out of this. What do you think, CJ?
Wait, I was just looking at the rankings.
Oh, you're right. Is it updated? Is like Harris?
Looks good.
Okay, sweet.
I would start 2.
Gaskin, Freeman, or Le'Veon. Who you
Le'Veon Gaskin, I think.
You like Le'Veon Gaskin. I think that's the smart play. But I just also am feeling Freeman this week. So I'm going to bench Gaskin, but the smart play is going Gaskin Le'Veon. Oktoberfest beer or pumpkin beer? You give me that thin rim, baby. I'm all about it. I like the pumpkin beer myself. But more IPA guy anyways. Benching Taylor, rolling Gibson and Chark. Ooh, baby. Mike getting spicy. I don't hate it. I mean, Gibson's the one trending the right way right now. Until Taylor's fully unleashed and the training wheels come off, I don't hate the call. Sarah Riley, Ertz, Hurts, Ebron. Ertz, Hurts, or Ebron? I think it's Ertz, but he's facing Pittsburgh. Really tough matchup. But I think you got to just keep riding Ertz, right?
Yeah, that's a safer play.
Taylor probably have a mixing week. Hopefully Reich gets the message. Yeah, Reich's going to know Mike Clay benched Taylor, and he's going to really fire him up for it. Taylor, you got benched over here. What do you think of this? Ty Wilson, Olamide Zaccheaus, or Russell Gage? I go Gage. I think both could have decent days, but I go Gage. Are you Gage over Z-Man for any more time to do this? Yeah?
Yep.
Matt Murray, pick 2. Taylor, CEH, Gibson, McKinnon. I'm going to go CEH and Taylor. We just heard, though, Mike Clay, who's made a lot of great decisions in the past that he calls on this show. He's benching Taylor for Gibson. I personally would go CEH and Taylor. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm going CEH and Taylor.
Woods versus Washington or Jerick McKinnon versus Dolphins? Standard league. I'm going to go Woods there.
Yeah, I'm going Woods.
Todd Roos, good morning, my friend. Dilemma time. Could use some help, brother. PPR, Danny Dimes or risk it with Allen, and Landry or Chenault or risk it with AJ Brown. It's Fuku running, exactly. I think, again, I want to emphasize, I think everybody should be allowed to have a backup plan if in case this situation arises that you predict and you say, I make a decision, this is my backup. But if not, then I wouldn't risk it. I'm not holding out for that game. As good as Josh Allen is, a season changer, I think you got to have your guy in there. Don't worry, I still keep up with the content, but testing my gut theory. Much love, men. There you go, Steven. Always love seeing you. Bong rip every time I hear contingency plan for Dylan Vargera. Then I'm going to say it a whole lot more, Dylan. You must be fucking cooked by this point. That I love it. I got to join you on that train soon. I'm so excited to have Hunter freaking Renfro, said no one ever. Indeed, Craig. Goff or Jimmy G? I'm going Goff. Deontay or Josh Kelly in flex? I'm going to go Deontay, even though I don't love him this week. I also have Chenault. Would you play him in over Gibson? No. Gibson and Parker, like them both. PPR, flex help, John Brown, T. Higgins, Josh Kelly, Latavius. I'm already starting. Well, if you don't have a contingency plan to Vargera, fire it up. I would go Josh Kelly there. What do you think? Latmer, he's already starting Kamara. I can't do that. Kamara and Lat.
No,
it would have worked last week, but like there's only so often that will work.
Yeah, I'd go Kelly.
I go Kelly, and then if on Monday you get word that like Tennessee's definitely happening, then John Brown maybe. But yeah, give me Kelly that one. Tia Matsumura, need one RB in flex. David Johnson, Gibson, McKinnon, CD, and Chark. I'm going to go CD, and then I think Gibson over Chark. You said Chark over Gibson, though, right? For you?
Yep.
So CD's our lock, but I go Gibson. He goes Chark. Jay Cook over Kelly in the flex. If AJ Brown doesn't go, yeah, I would go Kelly there. Thanks, boys. Great show per usual. Thank you, Twan. Maybe we'll see you in a little bit. PPR, flex, Parker, Davis, Mixon, help. Davis, right? Mike Davis, got to go. Mixon, though. Not Parker. Davis versus Mixon. I kind of like Davis today. I think Davis is in a smash spot against Atlanta, a little bit safer than Mixon. What do you do with Davis versus Mixon?
Yeah, I love Davis this week, but I'm staying with Mixon.
Staying with your boy. All righty, we got 5 minutes. Let's rip them. Start 2, JT, CEH, Miles Sanders, Gibson. I'm going the first 2 there. Kenyon Drake or McKinnon for Cassidy. I'm going to go Drake begrudgingly because Mostert's in. Deontay Johnson or Marquis Brown, PPR. I'm going Marquis. Love the upside today. Is Jared Cook playing? We don't know. He is questionable. I would play Gesicki and just hope for the best, even though 49ers are very good against tight ends. Too risky. You don't know what the status is of Cook unless you got a backup plan. Raheem Mostert or Le'Veon Bell. I'm going to go Bell, I think. That's tough. I think I actually like Mostert a little bit better.
Yeah, I think
so. Got a Patreon, says Nate Blair. We haven't set one up. We just like doing this shit for free. We will have premium content and stuff coming in the future. So consider us when we have something worth paying for. Well, I mean,
we'll set up an OnlyFans.
We'll set up yeah, exactly. You'll get some wolf stripping, and that'll be worth it. CJ, CJ OnlyFans. Is Andrew playing? Yes. Mark Andrews is playing. Right? I think they're all playing. They're all active. Traquan Smith at wide receiver over Chenault is to keep the slot for Diggs. You might find out more. Yeah, you can do that one. I mean, I see it, but I like Chenault a lot this week. Hurst or Andrews? Andrews, definitely. T. Higgins or Drake? Drake. It's bad, but I stay with Drake at that point. Tyler Polonsky, Gage with Julio, Watkins, Ward, Gaskin. I got to go Gage there. Gaskin the second, but I'm going Gage. Justin Jefferson or Lamb? I like Lamb more than Jefferson. What about you for the Rooks?
I'm going Lamb. I love Jefferson this week, but yeah, Lamb's more exciting.
Lamb has just been so damn good. I can't put him on the bench. One running back in flex, David Johnson, Gibson, McKinnon, CD, and Chark. So we already answered that one. Have PPR, Ingram, or wait to see with Jonnu Smith. You got to go Ingram there. You can't wait it out unless you're allowed to have a contingency plan. Josh Kelly or Lev Bell? I'm going to go Lev. I think Lev will catch like 5 or 6 today. Robbie Anderson or Keenan? Ooh, tough question, but I'm going to go Keenan. 40% target share. I love me Robbie, though. I hope you can get him in your lineup some other way. Jonnu or Mike Gesicki? Gesicki, if you're not allowed to have the contingency plan. Alan Hunt is a must start. I don't know what you're talking about. Antonio Gibson or Jefferson at flex? I go Gibson over Jefferson, but it's damn close. DJ Moore or Justin Jefferson? I go Justin Jefferson in that one. What about you for DJ Moore or Jefferson?
I'm going DJ Moore. I'm hitching my wagon to him.
You're all in on him. I like it. Fitzy or Rivers? Give me Fitzy all day. Fuck Rivers. No upside. Good luck today, fellas. Great show once again. Thank you, and good luck to you, Craig. Lay low. Pick 2. Tyler Lockett, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Robbie Anderson, James Robinson. Too much for me to figure out right now. Sorry. OBJ or Stephon Diggs. That's an example, by the way, of how you don't ask a question. You got to have some locks in there. That's too much. I think I'll go
Lockett's in, Thielen's in.
And then
James Robinson.
I think I'm going Robbie Anderson for that one over DJ Chark. OBJ or Stephon Diggs. You're right. That actually wasn't even a bad question. You just had so many good fucking options. Sorry, I felt like an asshole. I thought lay low. I go the first 2 options and then Robbie Anderson. OBJ or Stephon Diggs. You got to go OBJ unless you're allowed to have a backup plan. Schultz or Ingram PPR. I go Schultz. I know you love Ingram this week, right?
Yeah, Ingram.
Michael Thomas or Zacchaeus. I mean, I don't know if Michael Thomas is going to play. I'm not the team.
I'm feeling comfortable with Michael Thomas. I don't know why.
You got to have a backup plan if you got. Follow the Twitter Roto Street Journal. Yeah, Heg's ripping the highlight clips all day. I don't know who to start. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know if Michael Thomas is going to play. So sorry.
Yeah.
Laylo, thanks. Sorry. No. You have too many good options, Laylo. Don't apologize for being a fucking dominant force. There really actually wasn't obvious guys in that one. So that was our fault. And yeah, I mean, CJ is comfortable waiting. If you don't have a backup plan, though, how do you wait for Thomas at this point? So I personally would go Zacchaeus unless you have somebody for Monday night like Traquan. Guys, you're the best. 1 o'clock is about to kick off. So thanks so much for winding it down with us. Hopefully we nail them all for you. Hopefully you win week 5 and you win some DraftKings money today as well. Look forward to seeing you guys for the recap show tomorrow. Best of luck. RotoStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed feeding wolves. I am the wolf. That's CJ.
See ya.